Too many of my time lost in euphoria see undertow riptide emanate grey face and blind search for fix to end the fix. No will further travel compliance or join ranks of postmodern modernism transcend like the gutter rest. Ceaseless misanthropic uniform quest, fleeting essence of mental ill, sullen limbo lives cursing God, expecting pension luck, handout fortune of life well wasted, seeking higher Christ with track marks and yellow eyes, raging against wax grain, closer to atom acid drop, level civilized nation, no God, no master, lacking desperate insecure, all in head, not in heavens. In end of freedom translates nothing left to lose. Brutal truth realization leads to coffin wax replica, leads to fix is dollar bill, easily obtainable on filthy mattress. Swallow for your paycheck. Poor girl, all she wanted was a pony. Symbolized death of Soviet red. Straight razor pathway leads to Benzedrine divine, leads to underneath it all remains the same. Drifting downward upward for the fix to end the fix. What is this then? An organic coup d'etat against myself, against all laws of the self? The laws themselves opaque and unrealized, binded yet refined in their cold distance. It is not I, but rather a granite reflection, a reflection born of ice, carved from the precision of a dull rusted blade, a precision exempt from kings, denied of saints, an exact circumference born of the dead dreams of forgotten martyrs. How I long to return home, to a self tailored only of a nostalgia from an existence that never was. I long your vaporous fictional embrace. Isolation by the encirclement of many peoples. Is there a gradual poetry to the eclipse of time? It falls in shadows as moments tick by aimless, restless and immobile, devoid of the entity which recognizes it. I feel the universe turn in its solidity, a thoughtless outsider as the earth pivots around the sun. Seconds become heavy on my heart, like mountains crashing and grinding in a violent display of inertia. What else is there? Yet how do they feel? How do they feel? Alone in these thoughts, in that all living entities are alone, shadows and illusions to the ones who peer from the manual fortress. You can run for 100,000 miles. The curse follows the design of inward manifestation. Yet how is such a retread broken? These same sights, these same explorations, familiar and alien at once. How to outrun a past where destiny still appears essential to its prior existence, when all future is based on that which once was and will never be again, only the distance between the moment and the physical self, the self constricted to reside moments before the actual moment, lagging hollow in the trail end of its residual wake. Johnny stood armed outstretched at the threshold of the abyss. Life had raped him of his soul one too many times. Lunging headfirst into the belly of the beast, the frenzied howls of a million screaming junkies pierced the night. He was free from the shackles of existence. It's all coming back to me now. I used to be a tough guy, a fighter. I used to be hardcore and lofty. I used to box and play drums and cause myself much physical pain to extend my threshold to it. I used to push people around and play God. I used to beat people up and set shit on fire and fuck women like a machine and kill small animals to demonstrate my power. Many admired my resilience, and those who were intimidated masked it by challenging me to a fight. They would always back down. The ones who didn't left a bloody mess. They're still there, everywhere, waiting for me to fuck up and leave myself open. I'm always exposed now. I didn't want any of it. I just wanted to be left alone. They just kept fucking with me and pushing me until I snapped. I had no choice. I had to fight back. They turned me into a fucking monster. They can't get to me now. I've severed all emotions so that they can't take them away from me. I've put myself through great lengths of self-destruction so they could never destroy me. Only I could destroy myself. I crafted my own reality so that I no longer have to live in theirs. The animalistic need of sexual domination is all that keeps me anchored to their world. I take the roads least traveled to avoid any unnecessary human contact. All communications severed so only I can reach them if needed. No family but the family I choose. No disappointment but the disappointment I create. No pain except that which I let myself feel. No memories but the memories which I allow. No God but my own ego. Fuck every single last one of you. I win. Your eyes once transported me to a place where everything made sense. Your gentle nature ceaselessly inflicted a fathomless sense of security. Each dream contained abstract manifestations of your delicate purity. You represented all that was true in my world. Time has rusted the hard-worn contours. When I see you now, an ancient sliver strikes a dull ache. You are but a lightning rod of self-disgust. I ignore you through merciless self-absorption. If I could find the strength to look you in the eyes, I know I could leave this place. I feel old and imprisoned. isolated and condemned. I am everything compacted into nothing. I'm sorry I ever hurt you. To open is to forfeit control. To forfeit control is to lose control. Lose control, welcome manipulation. Welcome manipulation, forsake identity. Reverse. Allow impression of sentient control. Influence illusion of emotion. From within, manipulate subjacent. Control the body, control the mind. In her eyes I caught the taste of gunpowder and the stench of sex. We sat in crescent dreams, hopping candlelight. The phone rang, anxious and starving. The voice said she'd overdosed an hour ago. I watched her vanish in a gaze of euphoria. Last night we fucked and let it all out. Last night we fucked and I felt the violence. We began tender, your lips soft and inviting. Your body was smooth and hairless like glass, an angel in blue hue solitude. The further we progressed, the more my spine turned to fire. I no longer cared about you. Your body was the headless statue of every woman who I had ever felt something for, every female that had ever rejected me, every girl I was too insecure to make an advance towards. It was at that moment when I enjoyed sex more than I had ever before. You were every insult ever shouted at me, every fist plowed into my skull, the pain of every scar flooding back in one cathartic assault. My cock had become a blade, and the harder I fucked you, the more I was killing you. As we climaxed, I felt the sky shatter, the heavens immolate, the ground open up and swallow us whole. Deep within the earth, we held each other naked and trembling. You were my girl, I was your man, and we were madly in love. I fell asleep in your arms, silent and undetected. Everything I ever meant to say to you, but could never find the words for, came pouring out in one massive stream of venomous lava. I stared at myself in the mirror for hours until the inner voice of resent propelled my fist through the half-rusted glass. Buried between my knuckles, the shrapnel held a distinct comfort. Propped up and bleeding against the bathroom wall, I could feel your warm breath on the back of my neck. Why have you fallen for night's iron embrace? They poison you with false hopes and promises of a world beyond the scars. When you think you have them figured out, that's when they make their move. They'll slit your throats while you sleep, replace your arteries with razor wire, and shove scorpions down your wrists. It's best to sever the need while you're still young. Their world will only replace your flesh with concrete. They'll restructure you to their specifications. In time, they'll erase you. She froze in the hallway, statue granite, face an artistic suture. In one hand a throbbing heart, the other a rusted pistol. The humidity had become a sentient force in the calm night. It was the end of time. The dawning of the rebirth had arrived. Many years ago, I would carefully examine your reactions to whatever form of speech, action, or advance I would make towards you. I would strenuously debate over a careful set of options before choosing a definitive course of action. I did this not only when interacting with you, but with every environment and situation I would encounter. I was sharp and attentive while interpreting the perceptions laid before me. Tirelessly, I would collect a journal of notes and observations to better absorb the portrait of life I had witnessed. I was well disciplined in this order of analyzation. As time passed, I thought perhaps I had dulled these perceptions through the excesses of drug addiction, crippling insecurity, or perhaps even a mighty sense of laziness just beyond the grasp of my reasoning. The notion that I was too damaged to open my eyes once again terrified me. This was not so. What I have come to realize is that I no longer care anymore. None of you mean anything to me, and I have serious doubts that any of you ever will again. I prefer solitude in nearly all levels of my existence. I feel foolish and have an abrasive sense of misanthropy directed towards my head for rejecting the assimilation process since day one. The thought of intimacy above the level of empty sex physically repulses me. I will remain a bachelor for the rest of my life, for I have already married the truth of self-absorption. It is the only truth in which I know. This way of life is not fatalistic. One day, perhaps, you too shall understand. I know the meaning of life. There is no meaning. There is no grand design. There is no loving God. All that exists is the all-encompassing void and the will to nothingness. In the vacuum, rage and humor go hand in hand. The quicker you realize this, the closer you will come to me, but you will never be able to touch me. Welcome to the threshold of the abyss. Take my hand. Nothing can stop us now. The non-people refuse any further definition of character. They shed gender imperatives like snakes shitting skin. Psychopaths flood the streets, kidnapping politicians, sending strip malls ablaze. The non-person is a psychopath, someone with no model of adult. He or she has no definitive personality, little or no emotion, and his or her outward reflection is a mask to move about undetected. The non-person is a manipulator, a psychopath, street actor, a policeman, ranch hand, bowling champ, drifter, lumberjack, hobo, priest, or nun. In many cases, the non-person is a sadist. The non-person could live next door. The non-person could be your lover. The non-person could be landscaping your lawn. One day, they will refuse the illusion. The sky will shatter and the oceans will burn. They will come for your children. They will thieve your stability. They will rob you of everything you hold dear simply because they can. They will not be stopped either. One day this will all be over. One day we'll be free. 19 years, 2 months, and 17 days of tragic evolution. Last night, I saw a pregnant girl candy flipping. She was only 15. Ever seen an acid baby? Not a pretty sight. America. My mind was once the focus of much lightning, burned out long ago. Every time I begin feeling better, something's raped from me. America, I wouldn't wish my life upon anyone. Whatever normal is, I cannot pretend to be. I live inside a constant hallucination. I haven't slept in 7 years. Every dream is a nightmare, or I'm at work, or I'm organizing my room. I'm only 19 and I feel like I'm 40. I've tried to kill myself for years, but I've never succeeded. Within lies so furious a rage it poisons the core. I just want to break shit and kill and scream. America, you were right. Drugs really have a way of catching up with you. It happened a year ago, and I'm still going. Your fucking DARE program accomplished nothing but enchantment. Good drugs. Bad drugs. Powder up my nose, blotter on my tongue. I hate myself because I understand the big picture. No sense makes sense. America, all I really want is an honest girlfriend. I'm not in the game to get inside pants. I just want something pure and true. Women like me until they really know me. I've never had a steady relationship. My first love was this lunchbox girl who would compulsively cut herself. I remember the way the blood bubbled out of her sweet skin, like rabies at the mouth of a frothing dog. She got angry when I refused to mimic her self-destruct mechanism. She was a loving person. Seriously, I don't expect pity. I'm just lonely. I have no real friends. Everyone I know is shady. I stayed true. I saw a pregnant girl rolling. America. My only model for father was a burnout alcoholic. Never felt right because he never hit me. Not once. The television lied. He had a parrot named Artie. Got it from a World War II Navy vet who won it in a poker game deep in Morocco. It understood English perfectly. It would always shout, "Answer the fucking phone!" America, he chose the bottle over us and disappeared for years. When I last saw him, he was lusting over his friend's niece. He told me I would sell my soul just to suck the cock of the guy who last fucked her so I could score a taste of her sweet cunt. He always had high aspirations. He's gone now. Probably dead. Unhygienic. Shit-faced till the end. America. As hard as I try to formulate new ideas, all my poetry follows the same repetitious pattern. Quasi-plagiaristic, pseudo-revolutionary filth. Even my journal refuses to listen. So to avoid further embarrassment, I'll end this abruptly and adequately in the words of a secret hero. This is not an exit. The meaning of life is survival. I have acquired a great deal of wisdom through self-destruction. This wisdom has strengthened my ability to control my environment, senses, emotion, and mind. The greatest lessons I have ever learned are the most simplistic. Everyone you love will either reject you or die. Everything you create will eventually deteriorate. Everyone is someone else's nigger. I used to believe that life had no meaning. No. The meaning of life is survival. All knowledge stems from that single word. Our society has based itself upon what is unnecessary to survival: entertainment, religion, sex unintended for reproduction. No one can break me from my views because no one can disprove them. I share my beliefs with others because I want them to understand. The end result is always either a comrade, follower, or enemy. There is no deviation. Those who befriend respect my resilience and determination. Those who follow find strength in my sheer will. Those who disagree tend to dislike, if not fully persecute, for my beliefs. They detest me because they cannot disprove me. Let it be known that I hate what mankind has done to this world. This earth is a paradise, and we've made it a hell. Your culture is weak. Your gods are frail. Your duplicity is all-consuming. My view of the world may be stark, but it is concrete. Through smashing all illusions, I have gained an unbreakable discipline. When I go down, I'm taking every single last one of you motherfuckers with me. Barbarity, genocide, evolution. Often I have found myself obsessing over the methods in which I to mutilate you. Whereas your lies were once the cancer that debilitated me, they've become the very fire that propels me. Much as a Buddhist monk devotes himself to the purest of emotion, I have surrendered myself completely to hatred. This is my refuge, my reverse nirvana. My soul is a roadmap of scar tissue, an atlas of pain. Restlessness is the only calm in which I know. Your masks shatter before me, charlatans, cowards, monsters, and whores. You are the great soul snatchers, the life takers. When one of you tries to touch me, I want to rip off your appendages with raw power. You are all invisible. I am the machine. Golden trumpets praise my victorious return to isolation. Even God cowers before me. Nothing you will ever say or do can hurt me now. Motor City. Drive these fucked up streets. Siren soundtrack, gunfire bliss. A crowbar to the face of life. I was trained to call them niggers. We're in this together. Living death. Stripping flesh. Mainlining and mutating. Well-oiled pinions of a lesser machine. My thoughts ignite fires within your cities. Sterile and comatose, cleansed and conditioned, I want to piss out the ashes. This is where it falls. This is the breaking point. These are the true colors. No false pretenses here. Only survival. Live and learn. Adapt or die. In unfriendly concrete hell. This is my home. I'm never coming back.